The message came without warning, short, final, and unsettling. Your case is closed. It's done. And if you are seeing this, it is for you. Those words alone were enough to freeze anyone in place. What case? Why closed? And why now? That's the mystery that pulls you here today, not by chance, but because somehow, in some way, this message was meant to find you. Welcome to the story where endings are not always the end, and closure is not always what it seems. Imagine living your life thinking everything is normal. Routine mornings, familiar streets, people you greet without a second thought. Then suddenly, one small sign cracks the pattern. Maybe it's a strange letter that appears on your doorstep, maybe a phone call with no voice on the other end, or maybe a quiet message written where only you could see it. And it doesn't matter if you believe in coincidences or fate, because this doesn't feel random. It feels personal. That's exactly where our story begins. A single line that looks like the end of something but secretly opens the door to everything else. You may not realize it yet, but if you are watching this, you are already part of it. The case that is closed is not just someone else's. It might be yours. It might belong to someone close to you. Or maybe it belongs to something you thought you had already left behind. The air around this message is heavy, almost charged, like the silence before a storm. And the question is not just why it's been sent, but why you were chosen to see it. Because things like this do not land in front of people by mistake. There's always a reason. Some say the past never really disappears. It hides, waits, and returns when you least expect it. Others say the universe speaks in ways we often ignore, until it speaks too loudly to be dismissed. But when a message like this appears, one thing becomes clear. Something is about to change. Maybe you've been waiting for a sign. Maybe you've been searching for answers without knowing where to look. Or maybe you thought your story was already written and closed. But here's the truth, nothing is ever fully closed. Every case has loose ends. Every ending hides a beginning. And every word written has more behind it than what is seen. So, as we move deeper into this story, keep one thought in mind. What if the words "your case is closed" don't mean freedom, but a warning? What if the real story hasn't even started yet? And what if the reason you are here right now is because you're standing on the edge of discovering something that was never meant to stay hidden? Stay with me, because what comes next is not just a story. It's a path you've already stepped onto. The question is, are you ready to find out what waits on the other side? The words lingered like an echo that refused to fade, and the more you tried to push them away, the stronger they came back. Your case is closed. It's done. But how could something be done when it didn't even feel like it had started? That was the conflict hidden beneath the surface. An invisible tug pulling at your chest, a sense that something unfinished was about to return. It wasn't only about the message. It was about everything it stirred inside. Old memories began pressing against the walls of your mind. Moments you thought you had buried, choices you believed were forgotten, and questions you never dared to ask out loud. At first, it feels almost ordinary, like a small detail you could dismiss if you wanted to. But then things begin to shift. People around you act differently. Conversations break off the moment you enter the room, and silence grows heavier than words. Even the streets you walk seem unfamiliar, as if the city itself knows something you don't. The conflict builds not only from the message, but from the way it changes everything you thought was stable. And there are others, too. A friend who suddenly avoids your eyes, a stranger who seems to linger too long in the background, and a call that cuts off just as you answer. None of it feels random, and yet none of it gives you clear answers. The deeper you go, the more tangled it becomes, as if the message was not an ending but an invitation. But invitation to what? That's the part you can't see yet. Every sign points forward, but the road is dark, and each step feels like you are moving closer to something that doesn't want to be found. The silence around you no longer feels natural. It feels staged, as if every sound is being held back, waiting for something to break. The message has turned into more than just words. It is now a shadow that follows you everywhere. Each moment is heavier than the last, and the air itself feels thick with secrets. You start noticing details you never paid attention to before. The flicker of a light that should have stayed steady, footsteps that pause when you pause, and the strange way your phone lights up with notifications only to clear before you can read them. None of it makes sense, yet all of it pushes you toward the same place. The truth that is close enough to touch but still hidden behind a locked door. The conflict presses harder with every passing hour. Your closest friend seems to know more than they admit, and the way they avoid certain words feels like a warning. A note slips under your door, and signed, with only 3 words written on it. Do not stop. But stop what? Following the clues? Searching deeper? Or should you stop trusting the people you once relied on? The tension grows until even the faces you trusted begin to look unfamiliar. And then it happens. A knock at the door. Slow, deliberate, and louder with each hit. The sound echoes through the room, each strike rattling not just the walls but your own heartbeat. You know that behind that door waits the moment everything has been building toward. The case, the message, the silence, all of it leads here. Your hand hovers over the handle, trembling, torn between opening it and running far away. Because whatever is waiting on the other side, it knows you are ready. Your hand hovers on the handle, the knocking still echoing through the room. But before you can decide what to do, everything stops. The silence is sudden, sharp, almost louder than the sound itself. You freeze, waiting for it to start again, but it doesn't. Slowly, you pull the door open, only to find nothing. No one in the hallway, no trace of footsteps, not even the faintest shadow. Yet lying there on the floor is a single envelope, its edges worn as if it has been passed through many hands before reaching yours. The moment you pick it up, the air feels colder. Inside is a sheet of paper, and on it, scrawled in uneven writing, are the words, "You're not supposed to trust the one you're closest to." The message rattles you because it feels specific, almost personal, like someone has been watching you long enough to know exactly who you lean on most. Suddenly, every recent conversation replays in your head. The friend who avoided your eyes, the voice on the phone that cut off too quickly, the small details you brushed aside. And just like that, the conflict shifts. It's no longer only about a hidden case or a cryptic warning. Now the danger feels closer, inside your circle, tangled in the people you thought you could count on. The stakes rise in ways you weren't prepared for. Each familiar face becomes a question mark, every smile a possible mask. The paranoia builds as you begin to wonder if this entire journey was never about uncovering secrets out there, but about uncovering the truth right beside you. Then, another twist. As you fold the paper back into the envelope, you notice something faintly scribbled on the inside flap. A set of numbers. At first, they look random, but the sequence repeats like coordinates or a code. If it's a location, someone wants you to follow it. If it's a warning, someone wants you to ignore it. Either way, the decision is forced into your hands, and the clock feels like it's ticking faster with each breath. Now you stand not only at the edge of a mystery, but in the middle of a betrayal. The question is no longer who left the message at your door, but who has been waiting for you to find it. And the more you think about it, the more you realize the case that was closed is about to pull you into something far more dangerous than you expected.